Hi, this is Political News in 5, and today is March 20th, 2022. I'm Aisha Osori. Now, I'm starting with Section 8412 of the 2022 Electoral Act. This is the provision that's been in the news. It's the one that makes it compulsory for ministers, commissioners, political appointees to resign before they take part in conventions, either as delegates or either as candidates. Now, President Buhari had asked the National Assembly to delete Section 8412 because it is unconstitutional and because apparently it conflicts with another provision within the Constitution that says people should resign within 30 days if you're a public officer. Now, the Senate declined to amend the Electoral Act and remove Section 8412, and last week, a court in Umuahia did just that. Now, the case was filed by Mr. Edede of the Action Alliance Party, a party I'd never heard of until then, which has really, well, let's go on. The judgment was given, and Malami, the Attorney General, was the only defendant. Malami has since accepted the judgment of the court and says that he's going to move to implement as soon as possible, which would be a first for this administration, which is notorious for disrespecting court orders and for being very slow in implementing anything. So kudos to Malami. But of course, we have to ask ourselves, is this not a case of self-interest and actually another blatant abuse of power that we've seen consistently over the last 7 years of the Buhari administration? I think it is. Several things are wrong with this judgment, and many people, there are lots of analysis out there about it, but I'll just stick to three obvious things. One is the swiftness with which it happened. Second is the fact that only Malami was the defendant. The lawsuit did not include INEC, did not include National Assembly, and maybe the judge should have asked that it did, because they're also parties to this suit. It doesn't make sense to only sue the Attorney General. And then third, there's another judgment that was given by a court in Abuja a few weeks earlier saying that any action on removing or deleting Section 8412 should be stayed. And so the court in Umuahia disrespected that. Now, ask yourself, why is it so important for people to stay in office during the primaries? Is it because it gives them an undue advantage? Of course it does. And this is what the National Assembly was trying to do, to even the playing field. So it's very likely that this is going to be appealed by PDP and hopefully other parties. But it's anyone's guess how long those cases will now take and whether it will have any impact for the APC convention, which is happening at the end of this week, March 26th. Which brings me to the second thing I want to talk about today briefly, which is the APC convention and everything being set for that happening within the next 6 days. The committees are all set. The list has changed from the list that Governor Bello had worked on when he was briefly leading the APC. And now that Buni is back in, he has changed the list again, and now we have different people, especially for two key committees, the election committee and the accreditation committee. These are now going to be led by Jigawa Governor Abubakar and the DSP, the Deputy Senate President Omar Agege, and people like Arufai, who were once chairing the accreditation committee, are now in the digital communication. So how, as they say, power is transient. Now, the two main contenders for the national APC chairman role are Adamu Abdullahi, who used to be governor of Nasarawa. He's also been a minister, been a senator, one of those any government in power people who never go anywhere, and Senator Sani Musa, who's a less known quantity, but those are apparently the two people who are the major leading contenders, even though about 6 people have indicated interest in that role. It's also looking like Omisore, who is from the Southwest, is going to be the national secretary. By this time next week, I should be able to tell you more about who emerges from the convention. And then third, I just want to talk about presidential ambition. We had Tinubu in the National Assembly during the week, engaging with the leadership of both houses, explaining to them why he's the best candidate. I have to say that from a comms PR point of view, it's really brilliant. Everybody who does that after him is going to seem as if they're copying him. So coming out first definitely has its advantages. But let's see, as what we know about how elections are won and lost in Nigeria, it might make no difference, all the things he's doing. PDP, Atiku has bought his forms, apparently, the nomination forms and the expression of interest forms, which cost him 40 million naira, which is about $100,000. It's not clear whether he's doing this with some knowledge about where the party is going to zone the presidency, because they're still debating that, and a committee has been set up to look into that. But he's gone ahead and got the forms. It's looking likely that Saraki as well is going to follow by the end of the month. So let's see what happens. And then finally, just to let you know that continuous voter registration is going on. It's been devolved to the ward level and it will end on Tuesday. That's this week, March 22nd. Then there'll be a break and then they'll resume again in April 10th. Please try and get your PVC. These actors I've been talking about don't care about us, but we really need to change the game. I'd like to say kudos to Anambra and Soludo. Soludo gave a very inspiring inaugural speech, just full of so many things that seem so practical and wise. Let's just hope that his actions will match his words. We wish him all the best and wish the people of Anambra all the best as well. Get your PVC. Let's vote. Let's change Nigeria. We're in dire straits. Have a good week, everyone. Stay safe and see you next week. Bye.